What's up, strongest men, women, and children from blocks all around the world? I am my block's strongest man. And what a day of World's Strongest Man competition today. Some exciting stuff, some unexpected stuff, and some injuries, unfortunately. So you probably all know by now that Graham Hicks had to pull out due to a nagging groin injury that he had going into World's Strongest Man that just didn't pan out when he was practicing with the squat. Just too painful for him to keep going there. So he pulled out. Gavin Bilton was moved to Group 1, and then Irvin Toots was put into Group 5. So they started their events today, and just courtesy of Eloi Fournier, who's done these spreadsheets every year, he made those available. It was supposed to be on Strongman Archives, but this morning the site was down. So I bet that too many people kind of found out about Strongman Archives and crashed their servers, but Eloi Fournier coming through again in the clutch and put up a backup spreadsheet that many people got a hold of to kind of know what the results are. Of course, we're not allowed to see footage, but I don't know anything against results, right? So taking a look at that, and out of respect to him, I'm not going to share his spreadsheet, but I kind of have it below my screen here. And oh, Nick, thanks. Loving your channel. I really appreciate it. Appreciate it, buddy, so much. Working really hard to give you some good content. So let's see. And for those who say I might have put the wrong time to start, I was trying to get on. My webcam gave me issues. I didn't even realize that it was prompting anybody with a notification. So sorry about that. Okay, so Group 1 results. The loading race was 5 points to Maxime Boudreau, it looks like. 4 to Brian Shaw. 3 to Travis Ortmeyer. Awesome for Travis. I don't remember how many points I predicted for him there, but when we get to the other groups, I'll tell you more about why I think it's so awesome for Travis. I'm really rooting for him hard. And so 3 points to Travis, 2 to Gav Bilton on that loading medley, the frame loading medley, and then 1 to Ivar Smockstellis, which was a huge surprise to me. I think I had Max Brian Ivars or Max Ivars Brian. I think it was Max Ivars Brian was the order that I had predicted. And Brian did one better and Ivars did several points worse. So again, we don't have footage. I don't know what happened there, but not sure. But that's a big surprise to me. Then we went into the squat, and as many people had predicted, Brian did very well in the squat. 10 reps on the squat lift for Brian Shaw. And that gave him 4.5 points because he split with someone else who also did 10 reps and making up for that first event, Ivar Smockstellis. So that's right, Bronco Pet, he did drop a barrel. I heard that rumor. That's right. And I also heard, I won't say who, but I heard things about the barrel maybe being an unfair thing to ask the guys to lift. I don't know if it was too big in diameter or nothing to grab onto, just total conjecture, but I heard things about the barrel maybe not being the best choice there. But hey, they had that anvil like last year. It was a surprise last year. At least we kind of knew about it this year, or I think Brian mentioned it on his channel yesterday, so I knew about it for a day. So anyway, Ivars makes up for it. 4.5 point split with Brian Shaw on the squat. He also does 10 reps. And a big shout out to Liz Chalet for calling it. She said, Ivars is a great squatter. You just watch and see. And she was right. Let's see. So then going into 3 points for Max Boudreau on the squat. So he had been improving on squat and showed to be, pretty decent in prep. So I knew he would do fairly well there. And then Gavin Bilton with 2 points and Travis with 1 point on the squat. That was 3 reps. So the top was 10 reps done by 2 guys, Brian and Ivars, and the lowest was 3 reps done by Travis there. So combining those 2 events that were done today, it was only 2 events per group done today. Some did the deadlift, some did the squat. They all did the loading medley, but it was only 2 events today. So the total is Brian Shaw is in the lead in Group 1 by 0.5 point. So 8.5 points to Brian, 8 points for Maxime Boudreau, who I had chosen to be in second place. I didn't put out my new kind of finals predictions yet, but my latest qualifiers predictions had Brian barely edging out Maxime. And then Ivars is in third with 5.5 points. And Travis Ortmeyer and Gavin Bilton are tied at 4 points apiece. So that's Group 1. Let's see. Then we have Group 2. So Group 2, I started to give Tom Stoltman a little bit more credit as my predictions went on. And it looks like he deserves even more than that because he is in the lead. Tom Stoltman, 9 points in Group 2. And that breaks down into winning the loading race, 5 points on the loading race, and 4 points on the deadlift. So he did do a little better on the deadlift than I expected. So for everybody who warned me about that, you were right. 4 points, which is 8 reps for Tom Stoltman on the deadlift. So let's go through one event at a time. Tom Stoltman, 5 points, wins the loading medley. Mark Felix comes in second in the loading medley. So Big Loz had told me, watch out for Mark Felix. He's quick and he's mobile, and he was right. So Mark comes in second on the loading medley. Evan Singleton comes in third for 3 points. So Evan not performing quite up to what I expected of him, but I did hear a rumor that he's maybe like not feeling his best. He's ill or something like that. I don't have any more details than that, but that's a rumor going around. So I don't know if that's affecting him or maybe it's just legitimately the other guys are better at the events. That I'm not sure. And so 2 points went to Johnny Hansen in the loading medley, and then 1 point to Trey Mitchell there. So the deadlift again was, let's see, the deadlift was a 3-way split for 4 points apiece. So what would have been 5 points, 4 points, 3 averages out to the middle number, 4 points. So Tom Stoltman, Mark Felix, and Trey Mitchell all did 8 reps, 4 points apiece for them. And then that brings us to the 2 point person, which is Evan Singleton, and the 1 point person, which is Johnny Hansen in this case. So the total is Tom Stoltman, as I said, leading the group as of now, 9 points. Mark Felix second in the group overall at 8 points. Evan Singleton at 5. Trey Mitchell at 5 and Johnny Hansen at 3 points. So moving on to group 3. This is one I probably got more right than anything else. Jean-Francois Caron, JF Caron, leading the group with 9 points. Mikhail Shivlikov second with 7. Robert Oberst and Athor Melstead tied at 5 points each. And Luke Richardson with 1 point. So a couple of crazy things happened in this group, and we'll get into that. So loading race was 5 points to, believe it or not, I don't mean to diss him, but I don't think anybody expected this. Robert Oberst won the loading medley with 5 points. And, you know, like I said, it was a shocker to me. He's a good overhead presser. I didn't expect him to win this event. 4 points went to JF. So JF did come in second there. 3 to Shivlikov, 2 to Melstead, and 1 to Luke Richardson, who ends up getting a bicep injury, unfortunately, and ends up withdrawing from World's Strongest Man. So that becomes our second person after Graham Hicks. Graham Hicks, Luke Richardson, now out of World's Strongest Man. And aside from that, if you guys have been paying attention to YouTube, Rob Kearney, who was an alternate, pulled himself out, not because of injury, but he had a different opportunity that he wanted to pursue. So that's 3 guys that are out. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anybody, but at least those 3 people. Oh, on top of that, we haven't gotten to his group yet, but I've heard that Terry Hollins also either injured or tore his bicep. I don't see an official withdrawal from him yet, but I heard there's a bicep injury there too. So bicep injuries again, like last year, and it's just really unfortunate to see that sort of thing happen. You want to see them be at their best after all that hard work and training and kind of see the best that they can do. So in terms of the squat, this group also had squat. JF outright wins the squat, 5 points for him, 11 reps. So he did incredible with the squat. 10 reps to Shivlikov for 4 points. 3 reps to Athor Melstead. Of course, Luke Richardson, as I mentioned, withdrew. And so on top of the Luke Richardson kind of having to withdraw due to injury in this group, the other big deal is that after Robert Oberst wins the loading medley, he zeros the squat. So crazy dichotomy there going back and forth there for Robert Oberst. So we'll see, you know, if he can kind of pull it together for the events tomorrow and make a strong finish in the group. We'll see. But yeah, so group 4, Konstantin Janasha leads that group, which is what I originally said and kind of talked myself down from after talking to Big Loz. And, you know, we'll see. It's not the end of the qualifiers yet. It may end up that he ends up lower, but right now Janasha leads with 9 points. Terry Hollins, again, with what we're hearing is a bicep injury, is in second place with 7 points, right above his countryman Adam Bishop, who has 6. Jerry Pritchett with 5 points in that group, and Chris Vanderlinde with 3 points in group 4. So that breaks down into loading race being won by Janasha, Terry Hollins with 4 points on the loading race, Jerry Pritchett with 3 points on the loading race, Chris Vanderlinde with 2 points, and Adam Bishop coming in last in the loading, in that loading medley with 1 point, which is a little surprising to me. I had him slated to do better than that, so I don't know if it were I doubt it's the loading part. It was probably the frame part because he's excellent at loading. But again, we don't have any footage. You know, if I had it, I wouldn't share it anyway. But we don't have access to any footage, and hard to know what happened. Moving on to the deadlift in that group. Deadlift was won by Adam Bishop. Not a big surprise there. I always thought it would be between him and Constantine in this group. Oh, sorry. Chris Van der Linde and Jerry Pritchett are in this group. This is the group with all the great deadlifters. My bad. So Adam Bishop wins with 9 reps, 5 points. Constantine Janasha, 8 reps, 4 points. 3 points go to Terry Hollins with 6 reps. 2 points go to Jerry Pritchett with 5 reps. And Chris Van der Linde, who I thought would do better than this, 4 reps for 1 point in that group. He's an incredibly powerful deadlifter, maybe not for reps. So that's an interesting turn of events. And so going into the final group, Group 5, that I wanted to share with you this evening. And let's see, Bronco Chop says, for some reason, the leaderboards are showing Terry as injured. I did hear that he is injured from what I consider a very reputable source, if that counts for anything. I don't want to divulge any more than that, but from a what I consider a very reputable source, I've heard that Terry also has a bicep tear. So we'll see, but I don't see an official withdrawal on the score sheet yet. So maybe he's trying to gut it out. Like, what's the next event tomorrow? Terry's group 4. So Terry will have Fingal's Fingers tomorrow. I don't know. Might be tough with a bicep issue. Maybe he wants to try to gut it through and see how he feels overnight. I don't see an official withdrawal, and I do for Luke Richardson. So interesting there. So group 5 again is being led by Kevin Ferris with 8 points, tied with Bobby Thompson also with 8 points. So they're the leaders, followed by Luke Stoltman with 7 points. Alexei Novikov, surprisingly, almost shockingly, 5 points. So he's in 4th place currently in the group. And 2 points for the new addition, Irvin Toots. So how does that break down? Well, a little bit of an unexpected crazy thing happening here as well. Not so much as in group 3, but a little unexpected as well. So Kevin Ferris wins the loading medley with 5 points. I think that was always expected. I always thought it would be between him and Novikov to win that particular event. And I think Big Laws agreed with me. I think that's the smart bet. And Novikov couldn't finish the frame portion from what I've heard. He just couldn't. I don't think he got to the loading portion. I believe the loading portion is second, if I understood correctly, and I don't think he got to it, which is crazy. So yeah. So loading race was Kevin Ferris first, Luke Stoltman second with 4 points, Bobby Thompson with 3 coming in third. Novikov still got 2 points. So he didn't get a 0 because he did get some distance. And Irvin Toots coming in last in that group with 1 point. And then that group had deadlift. So on that deadlift, we had 5 points going to Bobby Thompson. Surprise, surprise. I always thought that deadlift favored him. So he gets 5 points. And then we have a 3-way tie between Kevin Ferris, among Kevin Ferris, Luke Stoltman, and Alexei Novikov. 6 reps each for 3 points each. Oh, and if you were wondering, Bobby did 9. He did 9 reps on the deadlift. And then Irvin Toots comes in with 3 reps there. So that's how we got our totals for the group with Kevin Ferris, Bobby Thompson, then Luke Stoltman, then Novikov, then Toots. So those are your big surprises for Group 5. Novikov doesn't finish the length with the frame and is currently sitting in 4th place after day 1. And so the one kind of thing I wanted to mention that I mentioned earlier about Travis Ortmeyer that makes me kind of so proud of him is that he scored 3 points on a loading medley that the defending champion couldn't finish. Like, think of it that way. A guy that's been away from World's Strongest Man for that much time did better at an event than the defending champion. So shout out to Travis Ortmeyer. I can't wait till I get to congratulate him in person one of these days for that achievement. And hopefully he continues to do well as we go along, for being out of the game for that long and being in the middle of the pack in some of these places is just fantastic. So that's today's news for World's Strongest Man 2021. Let me know what you think is going to happen tomorrow with the remaining events, the Fingal's Fingers or train pull, the overhead medley, the front hold, and then, of course, the stone off. I don't believe they're all tomorrow, but there is a rest day on Friday, I'm aware. They mentioned that on the backstage portion of the World's Strongest Man Facebook. And hopefully that's it. Let's see. Are there any questions in the comments that I did not talk about that I might have information about? Janosh is looking strong. I agree. I think on the Facebook backstage, he was talking and he was kind of saying, like the weight was hard, but he won. Like he was saying the frame felt heavy to him, but he won it. So I guess that didn't deter him. I don't know if the heat's getting to him. He is a big, heavy guy, so I don't know if the heat's getting to him. But I saw I don't know if you guys have seen the forecast out there. At least one of the days is supposed to be 109 degrees. I hope they're not all like that, but yeah. And so, the other thing, if any of you are wondering with the guys who had to leave because of injuries or other reasons, once the competition starts, no additional alternates are let in. So that they're going to continue with fewer competitors now. There's no more filling in of that. And then the other thing, Gabriel Pena posted on his Instagram, for anybody that missed that. That was another nice piece of news for today, or not nice, but kind of contemporary piece of news that you might want to know. Because I had always thought, and so did he when I interviewed him, that he was first alternate. And so when Urban Toots was brought in instead of him, I was wondering why, and I think a lot of you were. And so he made a post on Instagram talking about there was a discussion where World's Strongest Man still may have concerns about his heart issue from last year, even though from me talking to him, that's all good and cleared up and under control. So that seems to be why, or at least based on Gabe's post, that seems to be why he wasn't put in where Urban Toots was put in. So really a shame. I would have loved to see him compete, especially if they put him in a group that had deadlift, he would have done some major damage. Let's see. Loading was first, then frame. Thanks, Roy. So interesting. So then Adam might have done well with the loading and then not been able to finish off the frame. I don't know. We'll see when it televises. I believe they even said on the Backstage Access that in the US, it's going to televise now in July, like instead of many months later. But the UK, unfortunately, still Christmas time. That's crazy, especially for having such a big UK contingent as part of World's Strongest Man and making their fans wait that many months, like that long to see it is just crazy to me. So anyway, let's see what else. We talked about Terry potentially being injured. Oberst might get here. Let's pop some of these up. Oberst might get lucky to make third now that Luke is out. He may squirm his way in. Poor Obi. He's 1,000 times stronger than I will ever be, so I hate saying this kind of stuff. Novikov was having grip issues. He was seeing physio for leading up to World's Strongest Man. That's interesting. Did you catch that on his Instagram or on his YouTube? Because he has a new YouTube page that he's trying to, get attention for that I, will wholeheartedly support. Adam has a grip issue right now, so he didn't even try frame. Interesting. Great information. That's really a shame for him. Well, the grip didn't bother him on deadlift. I'm assuming they were able to use wraps, so that probably helped out. Not many people finished the frame. Look at that. Wow. I'm also a little bit surprised that Jerry isn't higher in his group. What do you all think about that? YouTube. Okay. Yeah, his YouTube channel, Alexia's YouTube channel is pretty good. I'm definitely gonna check it out more. Well, anyway, just wanted to pop on here for anybody who didn't get all the information, or like some of you had more information to add for the community on my blog, Strongest Man, get you all up to speed on what happened today, the good, the bad, the ugly, and get you excited for tomorrow. So if you haven't bought that Facebook Backstage, I've liked it. I think Martins is entertaining and informative as always, and he's no BS either. Like, he's saying the guys he thinks is not going to do well. And Nick English I didn't care for him last year. He's good this year so far. So yeah, let's do it. Madman, let's see. I really hated to see last year when everyone was being so hard on Shaw for coming in 5th. Let's see. Like, they didn't see a strength athlete get 5th strong. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's still hugely impressive for sure. Absolutely. I redid my finals predictions for this year, which I probably shouldn't until I see who's in there, but I'll just change them again later. Like, I'm not ashamed to be wrong. And I actually, believe it or not, was going to put out a video about that right now, but then I saw people on this live stream, so I decided let's talk about what happened today instead. But I have him winning. I have him winning his 5th, so I have him. Let's see, very close. So I actually have Brian Shaw and Novikov finishing tied for 1st, and Tom Stoltman and JF finishing tied for 3rd. And then if you count back to the Atlas Stones, that puts Shaw 1, Novikov 2, Stoltman 3, JF4. So those were my predictions like before today even started, if any of you were wondering. Now, if Novikov continues to struggle and kind of makes it into the finals but continues to struggle, that could all get blown apart, but we'll see what happens. So anyway, I hope Mark keeps it up. Let's see. But a stone off might be too much. True. Mark's doing really well. Good for him at that age, right? And he doesn't look it. So, yeah, awesome. Anyway, got to get to bed, get some sleep, get ready to make some more content tomorrow. Thank you all for joining this evening. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you got a lot of great information out of it. Tell all your friends to come over and subscribe and watch all my stuff. Watch all my interviews with some of these World's Strongest Men guys. So, you're hearing the different statistics of how they did today. But I've interviewed Travis Ortmeyer, Chris van der Linde, Maxime Boudreau, let's see who else, JF Caron, and I'm missing one. I have 5 guys who are in Worlds this year. Let me look at my list and see who I'm missing. Oh, Athor Melstead. So I've interviewed them. So you might find it very interesting to go watch their interviews. And I recently interviewed Big Laws also. And that way you can get a little insight into their mindset going into this grand competition. So thanks again for joining me this evening, everybody, and have a great night. And of course, as always, ciao, homie.